Hey y'all, welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jen.
And what are we doing today?
We are making chicken feet bone broth.
Chicken feet bone broth.
Yeah, so I saved all my chicken feet and I had 16, I think. So we're gonna do 2 different pots of that. First I have to, what?
Should be more than that. Should be like 26.
Yeah, that's right. There's 16 in each pot.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. First I gotta get the membranes off. So we're gonna boil them in water and apple cider vinegar and hope that does the trick.
All right, let's get on. All right, there's the chicken feet in the pot. How much water and vinegar are we doing, babe?
We have 2 tablespoons of vinegar in each pot and 4 quarts of water in each pot.
4 quarts. So she kind of mentioned it, but it wasn't like 100% precise. These are from the chickens that we just butchered. And if you haven't caught that video, make sure to catch it. We'll put it on the end screen. It was our first ever experience doing that, from live chicken all the way to butchering and in the bag and now feet in the pot. So very interesting, very cool. Check it out if you're interested in that. But this is part of using all parts of the chicken.
Yep.
Nothing goes to waste.
And if you don't have chickens to butcher, you can get feet at your local store.
For sure.
Sometimes they're on the shelf. Other times you can just ask your butcher.
Right. And like we've even done that with pig's feet and
Yep.
made pig feet bone broth before too. And it was super good. So they always got them on sale. These things are a dime a dozen in a grocery store. All right. Water's in. Bring it to a boil.
Just bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for 10 minutes.
Simmer for 10. See you then.
Okay, so now I'm filling up the sink with cold water because we're going to take them out of the simmering hot water. They boiled and they simmered. We're going to take them out and we're going to put them into the cold water so that they can be blanched, and that makes the skin come off easier. So if you buy them store-bought, you're probably not going to have to take the skin off. They'll probably already be removed, but this is for if you did your own chickens, you harvested your own chickens, and the skin is still intact. So that's what we're doing next.
Okay, now it's time to peel your chicken feet. So we've emptied all the juice out of both these pots. Dump them, actually clean the pots. You wanna make sure you clean your pots really well, just because you never know what might be on that skin. So you wanna clean it out, and now it's time to peel that skin off. Okay, so here's all of our chicken feet. That's what they look like when they came out. And it is very easy to peel the cooled skin off. It just comes off kind of flaky. Honestly, a little bit like a snake skin, to be honest with you. Okay, and then when you're done, let's see if we can get you focused in. All right, so when we're done, that's what your foot is gonna look like. Any guesses what it smells like? It smells like chicken. Okay, 13 in each pot, completely skinned. Also make sure to take the nails out. I'm not sure if I just mentioned that or not. But little tidbit of help. If you boil them, throw them in the ice and they cool down a little too much, it gets a little sticky and it's a little hard to do. I had the faucet and I just ran a little bit of warm water over the feet while I did it. Made that skin come right off like butter. So now all we're gonna do is fill them up with water. Just cover them with water. And how long? Bring to a boil. All right, we filled the water up in our pot, and now we're gonna bring it to a boil, and then we're gonna skim off anything on the top once we get to that point. But for now, let's just get to a boil. And while we wait for a boil, we make sure that we don't waste any part of the chicken, so while that's all the skin, go straight into the compost. That's some good compost stuff you got right there. Okay, once you've came to a boil, you're gonna turn it down to low, and then you're gonna use some kind of strainer. We got this little handheld one, and skim off anything that's on the top, which we had basically nothing, just little chicken bits that were off the feet itself. But whatever you have, just skim the top like that and catch any of the stuff that's on the top. So I'm waiting for this one to boil, and we'll skim the top off it, then we'll add the ingredients. Okay, we're finally to a boil here on this one, so I'm just skimming any of the stuff I see off the top. that's about it there. One last little scoop. And as you can see, really just got hardly anything. And now it's time to add our ingredients. So what we're adding is ginger, rosemary, and salt. So for ginger, it's about 1.5 inches is what they call it of a chunk. So 1.5 inches, I have taken all the skin off. Plop it in there, plop it in there. And then rosemary. So about 1 each, about this length. I had a really big one that was full, so I just cut it in half and we used it. And we're just gonna throw that right in and that right in. Gotta get my salt. Then you're gonna need 1 teaspoon of salt. And so we got like pink Himalayan salt or whatever it's called. It's salt we use, but I think you can use any salt. It's 1 teaspoon. I'm just gonna eyeballing it here. Both that looks good. I think it's about a teaspoon. What do y'all think? So now we are going to let this bad boy simmer for 12 hours plus. The longer the better, because now we are officially making our broth. So it's at the time that I'm filming this, it's about 6 o'clock. So we'll let this run all night on low, let it hang out. And then tomorrow we'll continue the next process. For you all, that'll happen literally right now. But this is where I'll leave you for the evening and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, 24-hour update. We actually let ours go 24 hours. Why not, right? The better taste, the better you're gonna get. So we have turned off the heat, we're letting it cool down. And that's what it looks like. It smells so good. You can really smell the rosemary too that's in there. But it is fantastic. So now we just need to let this cool down. Okay, if you're wondering where Jen may be in this process, she is still under the weather. So Wyatt and I are taking this over, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Okay, so our broth has completely cooled down. So the next step is straining everything out to where you just have liquid. And then we're gonna put it in some big old jars, stick it in the fridge and let it cool overnight, okay? Okay. And then tomorrow we'll be able to actually do the canning process. But we have to cool it down and let it sit overnight and then we can get on the canning tomorrow. You ready? Yeah. Let's do this. Okay, so what we just made 2 gallons and a quart. And 1 little tiny guy. So it is a beautiful color. It smells amazing. It's Wyatt's favorite soup. He loves it. So nothing in it. Nothing in it. That's right. Just liquid, right? You love the flavor of the broth. So we're gonna put these all in the fridge if we can find room. It's really starting to fill up in there. And then we will be back at this tomorrow. Fingers crossed Jen's feeling better tomorrow and you all see her. I know it's kind of a few day event kind of thing just to make broth, right? But you have no idea the flavor you get out of this over, say, store-bought chicken broth. So stick around for you all. It'll be in an instant. But do know that Wyatt and I were told every step to do, isn't that right? Yeah. Yeah, so Jen might not be on the video. She might not be having her hands on it, but she is in her flueness self telling us step by step what to do. Even Raylan. Even Raylan, yeah. Raylan cried today that she was sick as well. Yeah. All right, y'all. Into the fridge we go, and we'll see you right now. All of this beautiful chicken feet and all that good stuff that made our broth can be fed to animals. It definitely can. We're gonna use it in our compost, so that's where it's headed right now. And just make all that good rich soil, right? Yeah. Side note to remember, anytime you're kind of putting food out there because you don't want animals to attract to it, if you've already got an established compost, kind of like we do, it's very hot in the middle with all the chicken manure that we have and all the cleaning of the pens. So I'm gonna dig a little hole in the compost and actually throw this stuff in the middle. That way, number one reason, it doesn't attract any animals because they won't smell it. 2, it'll compost down so quick when it's right there in the middle of the heat. Good morning. All right, our broth has now been chilled in the fridge overnight. It looks great, smells great. Now it's time to finally can this stuff. So, then you get your pots back out. You can't even see it behind that pressure canner. But we got both of our pots back out. We're gonna put our broth back in there, bring it to a boil because this is a hot pack, I think is what we call it. FYI, Jen's in the shower. So she is gonna be on this video. She feels a lot better today. And then we're gonna get the pressure canner warming up. That way we can go ahead and sterilize our jars and get all that stuff ready. So as soon as that broth is ready to put in the jars, we have hot jars, hot broth, pop it right into the canner and get this bad boy going. So let's do this. Okay, both pots on high, lids on to try to get it to a boil a little bit faster. We got 4 quarts of water in the pressure canner. It's usually costs for 3 when you do it, but because we're gonna be burning for a little bit, it usually burns down a quart, so that's how Jen and I usually do everything. So 4 quarts in there, let everything get hot. Once this gets hot, we'll use our clean mason jars, put them in there, get them nice and hot and sterile. Hopefully everything is at about the same time when everything's ready. And then we'll get all this packed up and get the pressure cannon, and Jen will be here in just a second.
I'm back. Halfway. Not totally alive yet, but I'm getting there. Just in time because Zach had to get on a call. So him and Wyatt have done an awesome job, and it was all boiling. The jars are sterilized, and I'm gonna start ladling the stock or broth, whatever you want to call it, into the jars, and then we'll get it in the canner.
She may not sound the best, but gosh, isn't it nice having the queen back in the kitchen?
It's nice to be off the couch.
Off the couch, right. Why not? I know I was smiling and laughing through this video, but I was nervous I was gonna mess this bad boy up. But she's almost got all the jars filled up, and then we'll be popping them in the pressure canner. Okay, canning 101. Once you've got your jars filled, make sure you clean all the edges, the rims, is that what we call it, babe? With vinegar. Ooh, that's hot. And so the one thing to remember here too is it isn't like your jars are dirty. This is just if anything happened to fall off onto the sides that may block or contaminate the rings, because when you seal, you want everything to be sterile and clean. So don't stress that you have extremely dirty glasses. Just give it a good wipe with the vinegar and get yourself sterile and clean. All right, lids on. So with your lids, what is it, babe?
Fingertip tight.
And this is why I actually don't do it, because my fingertip tight is tighter than her fingertip tight.
You don't want to use your whole fist. You just want to use your fingertips. That's what they mean by fingertip tight.
Okay, so now it's time to get our jars actually in the pressure canner. As you can see, we're already at a boil, and that's why you want to go ahead and get it started earlier so you don't have to wait for all that stuff. Plus, you use it to distill or to sanitize your jars. So we have 9 jars that we're going to be canning today. That obviously is too many to fill for one, so we're going to have to do 2 batches. And something that you can do, just sneaking.
So usually, if I don't have, can you even see me? No, there we go. Usually, if I don't have enough to do, like if I have to do 2 separate batches, I'll fill the second batch up with water in mason jars so I can have clean, what is the word?
Distilled?
Not distilled, just clean, whatever.
It's distilled, isn't it?
Water. I don't know. I'm tired. But since we have the Berkey, I don't really feel the need to do that anymore. Thankfully we have that, so I don't have to do that.
And we have quite a bit already in the pantry.
And we have quite a bit already in the pantry. Where this is only for 25 minutes for quarts, I can't do beans. Usually I would put some beans in if it's with meat or soups or something else that take 90 minutes, but it's only 25 minutes for quarts. So we're just gonna split it up and do 2 batches.
And don't have the fear that they're gonna fall over because it's not fully packed. They're not.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do 4 and, or what?
We're gonna do 5 on first one.
Okay. All right, so they're in. So like I said, 25 minutes for quarts. All right, get your lid on. Make sure it's good and sealed. Zach always does that part.
And all I do is I just kind of put a little pressure down and turn as I go just to make sure the seal is real nice and tight on there.
And your canner might be different too. Make sure you read your manual and all that stuff. Do your research. And then we're gonna let it vent for 10 minutes before we put the cap on, and then we'll go from there.
Yep. All right, weight is on. The 10 minutes has passed up, and when that little bad boy pops straight up, we'll start gaining pressure. So we're gonna go to 10 pounds for, what'd you say, 25 minutes? All right, 25 minutes. So let's get this bad boy going. And Watt's still helping out, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like the soup as much as the pork broth, did you? That's okay. It's a little bit different taste. You still gonna eat it?
No.
No. Okay, the timer is up and we have turned the heat off our burner. So as you can see, our pressure is dropping. However, at this point, you just turn it off and let that pressure valve get all the way down to 0, and then you're still even gonna let it sit for another minute or 2 before you take the weight off. You just wanna make sure all the pressure has escaped before taking that lid off so you don't go boom. Okay, once you're on 0, you're safe to take that weight off, and as you can see, there's barely any steam coming out of there at all because we've let it all die down. So now let's take this top off and get these cans out of here. There's those beautiful, beautiful jars of chicken broth right there. So now Jen's gonna get them out.
They're pretty.
Yum, yums.
Yep.
So there she is, fresh out the canner. Okay, all jars are out. And so now what we did was we actually added another quart of water back in there because you gotta make sure that you watch that because it evaporates, is that right?
Yeah.
That's the right word. Evaporates out of there, so you wanna add water back in if you're doing a second round. So we're gonna let that get hot again, and then we'll put the remainder 4 in there. But this is probably where we're gonna leave you, but before we do, we wanna give you a little sneak peek of the pantry.
Yeah.
Because there's been quite some changes.
A lot has changed, yeah.
Yes, it has.
Look at it. Oh, I love it. So we added some more shelves. It's the same shelf that we have for our grow room. And we organized all of our canned goods. That's my fermenting shelf. So I've got my fire cider and all my kombucha. All my loofahs are down here. And my butternut squash that we're eating on, which is really, really good, by the way. We're loving that. All my dried goods are up here. All my jars are on top. And in the corner, we have a lot of jars.
And there's that's the pork broth that we made out of the pig's feet that Wyatt absolutely loves.
That's his favorite. It is yummy too. We're gonna make some more here because we're gonna can a ham in the next few days. And then over here is where I'm doing, I'm not really sure what to call it, but like if I find stuff on sale at the store, canned goods and stuff like that, I buy it. And then like olive oils, confectioner's sugar, salt, stuff like that that you need in a pantry, but it's not, you know, like a homemade type stuff. But that's where I'm storing all that. And then we've got some like liquors and wines that, you know, never might come in handy. You just never know.
You get snowed in.
Yeah, you gotta have it, right? But I'm just really proud of it. I love it. And then we've got all of our random things stored over here, but it's looking great. What do you think?
So we don't have a light in here, so I have to hold the phone flashlight so y'all can see anything. I love it. I just love having food.
I do too. I know I get excited over pantries, so y'all probably do too. And I just wanted to show you, it could be a whole lot bigger and one day it will, but I love it for what it is right now. And we are literally adding to it every single day. So that's exciting.
And what that pantry looked like just June of this year, it was just housing a bunch of boxes. So it's amazing to what it's came for in just a few months. But you know, I hope this inspires you to try to get that canning. Remember, canning is not just for your vegetable garden, it's for all year round. You should always be looking at ways to add to your pantry in any possible way. And Jen's the queen of that.
Also, thank you all for all the prayers and well wishes. Everybody asking how I was feeling. It means a lot. The past few days have been rough, but it's getting better now. But y'all have made it better just knowing that you're thinking of me and praying, and it means a lot. So
and now's my time to go rest. Never. It never is.
No.
But yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. There are plenty more coming of every piece of the chicken that we're using.
Yep.
A dehydrator comes out, more canning comes out. So be ready. We're going to have a little series on basically every bit of the chicken. So
That's right.
I guess this is part 2 of probably part 4 or 5.
Yep.
All right, y'all. I think this is where we wrap you up.
All right. We love y'all.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.